Welcome to Inside Ignite Coaching Voices podcast, where my goal is to help you gain deeper insights into the professional coaching. Here we bring diverse perspectives and expert insights from the world of coaching by engaging in conversation with seasoned coaches. I'm Pravin Sharma, a coach and a consultant. Welcome and thank you for joining. This is an executive coach who has revolutionized coaching by integrating human body intelligence and sensory awareness grounded in neuroscience. She brings more than 40 years of educational and coaching experience. She recently received her master certification in coaching by International Coaching Federation, and I'm thrilled to welcome Liz Dobbins into our show. Hi, Liz. How are you today?
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for having me on your podcast today.
Absolutely. We're very thrilled that you joined our podcast. Really appreciate it. Let's start off by talking about your coaching journey.
Thank you for letting me be on to share a lot of this. Basically, I have been coaching for about 12 years. I currently hold a Master Certified Coach certification with the International Coach Federation. And my journey actually started from my educational career. I taught for many years, and I ended at the University of Kansas in the Health and Science Department, where I really jumped into the niche that I'm in coaching. So the educational component, the coaching component that I also did for many years, just naturally was a nice stepping stone into life coaching. And when I kind of made that transition into coaching, it was pretty much of a natural step. So my studies have been in somatic coaching, and that's what my certification was in for my coach training, with facilitation along the line, which matched the educational component. And then I also attached the sensory awareness from what I taught at the University of Kansas. So I went into human body intelligence, which involves somatic sensory coaching, which I think is a unique niche, since it's not only sensory based, it's neuroscience based. And so that's what I've been doing for about 12 years. And it's been interesting on the approach with coaches, the approach with clients, the approach with as an executive coach. So that's been a growth arena in my journey as well.
You did mention about your life coach as a career initially, and then sensory coach as well. Is that life coach an extension of this sensory coach?
Yes. It's all international certification from ICF certification, but the niche that I coach within that realm is connected with sensory somatic. So that's the lens I look through, so to speak, when I coach. And a deeper dive into their own self-awareness, so to speak. So it's kind of like what's underneath that iceberg, as we all try to get to in coaching. Mm-hmm. So for me, coaching is moving forward from where they are to evoking their answers, because they know. It's me opening the questions that, let them see their blind spot, so to speak. So I'm just kind of a wonderful opportunity to connect, partnership, and work through that process that a client will bring to a session. And as they are whole and complete and they actually know the answers, I just get to evoke that.
Okay, that's really wonderful. If I may ask you this, once you become a coach, you definitely wanted to get yourself equipped with the latest information that's out there. And I know that you recently got your MCC. Congratulations on that one too. It's been like 2 months, I would say, right?
Yes, brand new. I'm still getting used to the feel of it as an MCC, and that's been a journey itself. So each level in ICF has been a journey or is a journey, and you start coaching the what, and then you're really into the who.
Mhm,
And at
mhm.
the MCC level, it's even a deeper dive into the who, which actually gives me permission because that's what my training was in somatic work. So
That's great.
I I feel like it's a kind of a hard home for me for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. When you got into this ICF coaching practice, did you get your initial ACC or you start off with PCC and then became an MCC?
No, I actually went all through three levels. So
Three
first
levels. Wow, okay.
I actually did three levels of certification. I know there's a few coaches going through coach training now that actually start at a professional PCC level, but I actually started at the ACC, then I leveled up to the PCC, and then now into the mastery. So
That's great.
I've been with them the whole time, all three levels, all unique levels and learning
Wow.
curves.
So definitely the bar has raised between ACC versus MCC for sure. The bar has raised from ACC to MCC for sure. Your practice is centered for just your clients, or you also host some classes for potential coaches who wants to come and learn from you?
Well, the that's a great question to ask because my ICF credential is, where it's currently taking me has just it significantly expanded my business for sure. So the accreditation has moved me in the years that I have leveled up and now into the mastery certification. It's been a credibility as a sensory somatic based coach and provides me with recognition, creates new opportunities, promotes my personal and professional development. And the connection is important as from another coach to another coach. So I just love connecting with other coaches to experience their learnings and their expertise. So I've had the opportunity to coach with different companies as an executive coach, as well as just a personal one on one coaching. And then even more doors have opened, and I've had the opportunities to have ICF blessings and their mandated credentials to offer CEs to coaches. So I have a class in coaching with the senses. So that's important so the coach can actually see how to connect with their clients with a sensory lens, so to speak. And then I'm actually also finished the assessor course with ICF, and I am currently mentoring in the area of cultural intelligence. So I offer hours with mentoring, which I can do with ACC level, the professional PCC level, and then because of the MCC accreditation, I'm even working with MCC. So the mentoring has really opened many doors. And just lately, currently, the accreditation has opened another new door, of which will keep me busy, I'm sure. And I just finished co-facilitating a retreat at my home. I'll be balanced. So, it's opened up many doors, and I have coaches that come, I have health professionals that come, and it's been a wide variety. And I've really enjoyed that. So, yes, to your answer, to offer classes and workshops for coaches for their continuing education, offering mentoring to coaches to level up or recertify their certification.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm, touching my toes into retreats. So that's where my ICF certification has taken me so far.
That's really great to hear about your coaching journey, like, becoming three different levels and experiencing each level, what it can offer you. Do you have any other plans to take further? I mean, like, I think MCC is an epitome of this certification, right? So Do you have any plans to take any other certifications at this time, or you're pretty much satisfied of what you already got?
Well, I'm
Because
always, yeah, I thank you for asking. I am it kind of always curious. That's my
uh-huh.
middle. I'm always curious, and in the learning and growth mindset. But as far as the mastery in ICF, so far where we are right now, that's the pinnacle of the coaching certification.
Yes.
However, I'm taking courses into learning more about expanding my coaching, whether
Oh
how to use
wow.
the metaphors or how to, the sensory lens for sure. It's always a deeper dive for me. So I'm always in a learning curve in taking classes, but as far as, and they offer their certifications as well. But as far
Mm-hmm.
as ICF level and coaching, where I am, I'm practicing just, the ways of being and
Mm-hmm.
coaching the who. So I'm pretty happy with where I am right now. And I think just to take a pause and kind of breathe in this level
Mm-hmm.
and to continue my own journey in my teachings and kind of expand that is what I'm doing now.
Yeah, learning should never stop. Absolutely. If I may ask you this, let me switch a gear a little bit here. And this is about helping other coaches to choose coaching, right? What are the
Right.
qualities? What are the qualities do you think that are essential for someone who is thinking about the career in coaching?
That coaches come from all different kinds of backgrounds. They may
Mm,
change from the business, been in uh, the corporate world and come into coaching as an executive coach. Um, they come from education like I did, so many different backgrounds. So I guess that's where I want to start is, looking into. I think it starts with self awareness of how your own personal development and where you are in your world. And then it moves to the we, which is that collective and in the qualities. What are your gifts that you're bringing to coaching? Definitely being open, agile, listening is a huge, huge. That's always a growing factor in how we listen not to say something, but to listen. The to be present, be able to self ground yourself. What are your tools that how you come into your coaching call? What's your mindset? So, I guess I look at a coach, the main qualities is listening and agility and not judging and or telling, uh, just really moving into evoking. And of course, you have that accountability piece for that client. But, your compassion, your empathy, I call it coaching grace. So for me, it's learning, what is that person doing or how I look at their body, their eyes, their
mhm.
mannerisms, what's behind them. So it's just I think an observation of what you notice.
Mhm.
So it has to be able to be open, agility, as I say, notice, trusting, intuition, very intuitive. Those I think are great qualities. There's probably more that I'm missing, but I think those are the key ones for me.
Emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
You did mention about your mentoring as well. Yeah, how do you guide individuals in assessing if the coaching is the right career path for them?
Well, that's kind of a double question here. It's,
Yeah, it looks like it's a continuation of
yeah,
what you
it's a
just mentioned. Yeah.
continuation. So my mentoring has started with, first of all, with people that want to be certified. And so, as far as an ICF look at this and the framework,
Mm,
they have a framework for you to follow as far as, ACC, you're coaching the what. So it's a very beginning stage, just listening, being present. And I think at that stage or level of coaching, it's okay, how can I move into a coaching call? What, they send in recordings. I do an assessment of the recording to see if they're within the ICF protocol, so to speak, that framework that they're going, even though they bring in their own gifts. And I think it's the same thing as we move on up the ladder. It just opens it up to a deeper intuition in actually coaching the person and not the situation. Although you do both, the MCC level for sure coaches the who. So if someone is really interested in, inspiring that empowerment, the partnership, it is a true partnership in coaching. Mine started with a partnership in coaching in sports. So I was really into that particular person and meeting them where they are and how can I take them to a higher level? How can I evoke that? So that was already present with me. So, as they practice their coaching skills, then that's when I think they find out if they really want to stay in this, and how they want to grow in it. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely, it does, definitely. And then if I may ask you this. Somebody just started their career in coaching and they're struggling to find the clients. What advice you have for them?
Oh, I feel like I'm talking to me.
Yeah. I mean,
when I first started, yeah. And it's
in a retrospect, yes.
It is. I feel like I'm talking to myself here. In the coach training, no one really talks about the business component of this. It's just the personal development and how you are and how you show up as a coach and your way of being. So the coaching business was a whole new ballgame for me. As a teacher, I didn't ever have my own, I never out on my own skinny branch, so to speak, on my own entrepreneurship of a business. So I reached out to the social media, LinkedIn, Facebook. I went into the social media aspects to market a little bit. And then I actually hired somebody to help me set up my coaching practice. As I became, the founder and CEO of my company, my LLC. So it really takes beginning steps on setting up a business and, the taxes, all of it. And so it was a new awareness for sure. It was invigorating, but like, oh my goodness, it takes a little time to set up your business as a coach if you're doing it on your own. And if you join a coaching company, then it's pretty much set up for you and you just come to the space in a coaching setting. But if you really are setting up your own business, it's a whole new world.
Yeah.
So I would coach somebody to say, or to, find somebody that can help you, support you to setting up your business. Because, what do you want? How do you want your coaching platform to look? How do you want your website to look? What are you offering? How do you bring in clients? How do you have that silver bullet to bring in clients? What's your niche? All of that I think is important.
So I think practically it's probably make more sense to partner with already established coach in the beginning. And as you go along, then you can distance yourself and you can start your own business. Maybe that's going to make more sense.
Well, you could. I just launched into it. With lots of coaches giving me their ideas and what worked for them, what didn't work, and actually got a hold of a person that was supporting business growth within the coaching industry, and that supported. So I think just reaching out and finding what worked and what doesn't work with other, and then of course you have the brand new AI coming into coaching or in the business component. And I think we can benefit from AI to a certain extent.
Mhm.
It's the old coaching school of not having AI, but I use WordTune, I use different software aspects to support my verbiage, my postings, my social media, my writings. If I publish books now, it's very much a part of my uh, support to hone in on what I really want to say. So it really supports that. So I would say AI for me supports the background, the backbones of what I'm doing right now currently.
It has created some challenges as well as it has complemented lots of people out there who are learning from and taking that benefit out from it for sure.
Yeah,
And as we go along, the model language, it when it spits out what you're looking for, it's pretty much the model language would give pretty much similar information based on what you input there, right? So um, when people are like, right now it's pretty new, pretty, it's evolving, that's for sure. But I think in the later years, when it starts to give similar kind of information to a lot of these people, and when they try to copy it and then institute that, there is a possible chances that people get fed up too. It's like, well, this guy just copied from AI, that kind of thing.
right.
So
Well, and I would say as a teacher, an educator, it might have some things you look out for, like what
mhm.
the students hand into you and what you're reading and what your exams look like now. So, from an educational point of view, I think there's a evolving levels that a professor needs to really pay attention to.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, from a writing ability and maybe wordsmithing, I think that supports a little bit, kind of takes care of that copyright, so to speak, or the copy
yeah.
press that you always reach out to.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, there's some there. If I think it's just be particular present to AI and what you're using it for.
Yeah, sounds interesting. Let's see what happens. Future is
Yeah,
always uncertain.
right. Because it could be our downfall, it could be a possibility, it could be positive. So I think there's pros and cons to both of it for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now, going back to your offering in coaching, do you provide level one, level two classes, or you're just more into the mentoring?
Well, and that's a good question too. I do a lot of mentoring, and I love that. Oh, I
Yeah.
love to see the growth when the light bulb goes off. It's like, okay, I have permission to
Uh-huh.
actually do this. But the classes I offer are not considered coach training. However, I am learning, the difference between CEEs for coach development and ongoing hours that they need for the recertification or their certification. And, where ICF now is, and they make changes, quite a bit. So I really need to stay attuned and tuned in to ICF, what they accept and what they don't. But the classes I offer are all interactive. And so it's synchronous work. It's not asynchronous. There may be a little of asynchronous, but I would say 90% of my classes that I offered are interactive and online or in person.
I don't like
And
asynchronous for
yeah, so in synchronous means you're face to face, you're in
sure. Right,
line,
right.
you're in target, you're interactive like we are right now,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that means that ICF currently will count that as training hours besides the CEEs. And so there's a little confusion, getting your CEEs and your training hours and what they count as training and what they count as just the asynchronous and continuing development, continuing education. So I just make sure that there's no doubt that whatever I offer is all live and interactive. And then they can, figure out with ICF what that's going to count like.
Liz, let me switch gear a little bit here in this conversation and let me jump into something that I have witnessed. What are your thoughts on the coaching misconception?
Coaching misconception. Well, that's interesting. I just finished a retreat.
Mm-hmm,
Someone may say, well, what's the difference between coaching and therapy?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And so the misconception of that is I always say, well, coaching is moving you from where you are forward. Where do you want to go? How do you want to show up? What is your way of being? All those, what would it look like 3 years from now or 6 months from now? Or, what's in that masterpiece of the bigger picture? What's the higher vision? So it's those forward moving questions. And counseling or therapy, if there's a misconception in there, is more healing in dealing with trauma, so to speak. So there's a healing component. Not that you can't do both. Someone is in counseling and someone can move forward in coaching. So the misconception for me is just the understanding when I talk about coaching, it's actually, I'm not trained as a therapist. I'm not trained as a counselor, but I'm trained to meet you where you are. And if anything is uncovered that I feel that there's a healing or needs to be referral to therapy, I will do that. So we uncover a little bit from where you are now and what what do you want to move forward with? What do you want to take forward? So that's kind of the ballpark between the counseling and therapy and the misconception of coaching a little bit. That's what I run into. Just so we can work through that. And, as you meet a person that's coming into retreat, or you meeting a person that's coming into your coaching, you really need to spell that out, because we never tell our clients what to do, or we never judge, or we're not supposed to ever assume they are whole and complete and know the answer. So it's just moving them forward. Does that support a little bit?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, there's this misconception, like, I'm also a coach, and so what I'm trying to say by that is, when somebody comes to me as a potential client, what I've seen is they're looking for some level of advice in coaching, right? They do not understand this is not about giving my advice to them. It's their agenda. I just stay as a sounding board for them, that kind of thing. They don't understand
Right.
that. So that's one of the biggest misconception that I've witnessed in this field. And it's not about, when I first started, when I didn't know anything about coaching, because, now they say, like, oh, he's a sports coach, right? Oh, he's my coach, right? So he's always coaching. He's always giving some advice in there. But this particular coaching practice that you have, the professional coaching, is not about giving any kind of advice. So the client will have to come up with their own agenda.
Right. And that's part of we do first session, and that's part of what they see, that I'm not giving them advice. If they say, does that make sense to you? Then I might answer, well, more importantly, does it make sense to you? So continually giving them back handed it back to them. So there's not assumption, and you're there to recognize their wonderful gifts. And did you notice what you just said? How do you feel from what you just said? So it's just noticing what they notice, so they can hook and what they have when they come to a call. So they do have an agenda. They do have an intention. And I ask them, what's pulling at you right now? What would be important to move into with this call for this session? And then it narrows it down. It's not just a salad, so to speak, coming at you to narrow that down. So the misconception of coaching, from advising to counseling, is something we ground on even before we start our coaching calls.
Liz, we have come towards the end of the show. I mean, I don't know, the time just flies.
I know. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been a great experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that I want to ask you is anything that you want to talk that, you're not able to due to my questions or so, any kind of like insight, any kind of thought from your side, please feel free to share that.
Oh, well, there's many years of coaching. I think practice is important for a coach. And I would, you're not supposed to say anything about telling anybody what to do, but I would say practice, 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 practice peer coaching with other coaches, practice whenever you can, and record all your recordings, record all your sessions and go back and listen to them. So we have markers that we go through, and I know we're so concerned about meeting the markers, but actually feeling comfortable about being recorded, feeling comfortable about meeting and listening to where your client is coming from, to be present, and trust yourself. You'll know what question to ask. And so that's what I just wanted to share. Is that's what I tell my people that I mentor. It's not having things going on in your head in one time to knowing what you're going to ask, but actually be present with your client. Be in partnership.
Yeah, love your thought, Liz. Thank you so much for being in our show. Have a great day.
Okay, thank you so much.
That was Liz Dobbins, the Master Certified Executive Coach, an author, and a trainer. A conversation with Pravin Sharma at Insight Ignite Coaching, Coaching Voices Podcast. You can contact Liz at liz@propelog.com. We'll be bringing out coaching-related topics in coming episodes from the Insight Ignite Coaching. If you find this content helpful, share with your friends and colleagues, and follow our show in Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, and in our own webpage at www.insightignitecoaching.com. Please continue to leave your candid feedback. That's the only way we can grow and serve our coaching community. Thank you for listening.